become a bit fearful and reactive and a little bit tense because I begin wondering whether can we even solve problems anymore? Do we even have that capacity? And then I think, well, can we even recognize problems anymore? You know, we just went through a whole presidential nomination thing in which no one even firmly acknowledged climate change. And no candidate even firmly acknowledged the fact that our health care system was broken and overly costly. And then, so in the last week or so, we've seen the Supreme Court say, well, when you finally can get it together to solve a major problem or begin solving it, maybe you can't be allowed to do that. So I think this is uplifting because I think if you look around here and when you take the tour, you'll see that all of you and people here, we have solved a lot of problems to do this. And that's to our great credit. I mean, at this point, I think with this facility and the buses and the fueling and the fact that we've made this integration between fleet fueling and private vehicle, small vehicle fueling, we're basically going to provide a great deal of wonderful data, crucial data, that we need to evaluate hydrogen fuel in the future. And for that, we should all be very proud because that's crucial to figuring things out. And it's so much to the credit of our president and secretaries, Chu and Rogoff, to basically know that this has to be done, that we've got to find out what the problems are. And the people here are pioneered what it takes to begin to solve those problems and that data. And I want to thank, in particular, Jamie Levin of my staff. As a board member, what Jamie brought to me was a visionary interconnectedness all the time. Ones that I was thinking. The whole idea of connecting hydrogen fuel buses to solar energy is here. I mean, he came up with. And he said, no, he says, that's got to be done. That's all part of this thing. It all fits together. And the whole idea of connecting all of that to education and to bringing in the school kids and to doing all of that sort of thing, that's what makes this work. And he's been very creative about finding the funds to do this. And I want to thank my fellow board members because speaking of the funds to do this, it's easy to do this sort of thing at the beginning when the money is basically coming from DOE and coming from DOT and coming from the state and saying, here's some money, get started and do this, and the money couldn't be used for anything else. But then after years go by and those agencies rightfully say, okay, you know, we can't supply everything going on, and so you then have to use some capital money that could be used for other things. You have to have a board that sticks in there and says, yes, we could do Y or Z, but I tell you that project is worth doing, so we're going to continue investing in it. And then, when you finally have to realize that it's going to take a dab or two of operating money to really make it work, the board stood with it, and I really do appreciate that. I thank our board for hanging in there. It would have been very easy to say, no, it's just not going to work, but we're here. And lastly, I want to talk about the city of Emeryville, where I used to be on the city council. It's not generally known, but while all of this was in the planning stages, the city of Emeryville was very interested in taking this property so they could put what's called the Emeryville Center for Community Life here, because across the street is the high school and the middle school, and it would have been an ideal location. And early on, because of my ties to Emeryville, I told them, I said, well, you have to understand, we're planning for some hydrogen out there and hydrogen fueling. And if we can't find a place to go, if you can't find us a place to go, we're going, once we put that infrastructure in place, nobody's going to be able to get us out of there. And never once did anyone from the city of Emeryville come to me and say, can't you slow that up a little bit? I mean, can't you just think about maybe doing something else, someplace else, so give some time? And that's to his great credit. And I want to thank the city very much. And thank you all very much again.